Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining me today on Deep Waters with Debrah Waters. You're tuned into Radio 93.7 FM and Silverbird News 24, which you can watch on StarTimes channel 109 or simply go on YouTube, search for Silverbird N24, click on the live button to watch the show live. We're still in the beginning of this new year 2024, and I'm super excited to be one of the peoples who are alive, to witness this new year and to experience, the breeze, to experience air, oxygen, to live. Sometimes don't you always imagine that? Imagine you were a non-living thing. What would it even feel like to be a non-living thing? That must be very boring, And it's just so beautiful to know that I'm a living thing, you're a living thing, and we're all living things, and we can experience each other and actually hear and learn from one another. This is Deep Waters with Debrah Waters, Deep Waters _podcast on Instagram. Please do well to follow us and to join the Deep Waters community. We love to talk about deep, meaningful things and topical issues, deep topics. We love to experience each other, learn, relearn. Sometimes we argue, sometimes we agree to disagree, sometimes we disagree to agree, but we're just a judgment-free zone for unbiased conversation right here on Deep Waters with Debrah Waters. And guess what? The phone lines are always open for you to join the conversation. Today we're talking about gaining clarity for 2024, and we cannot talk about gaining clarity. We can't talk about, being clear on what you want to do, understanding what exactly you want to do at a particular point in time without talking about self-reflection. Like I said, it's the beginning of the year and it's the time for us to find direction. Some of us are sitting down in our closet and saying, what do I want to do this year? What do I want to achieve this year? What's my direction for this year? Am I clear on my life? What do I want to do relationship-wise, business-wise, career-wise? We want this new year to be better than the last. So we want to, sit down and find clarity. Thankfully, we have a special guest with us in the house, who's going to put us in place and just help us, gain clarity for the year and help us understand how to do that, whether it's through self-reflection or whether it's through self-affirmation but majorly, we're looking at self-reflection in terms of helping us gain clarity for the new year 2024. My special guest in the house, is a transformative and highly energetic individual, the founder and the lead coach of Elicit Coaching Company, a professional coaching, training, and consulting firm, and is also a certified executive, mindset, and behavioral change coach, a neuro-linguistic practitioner, a public speaker, a capacity builder. When I say capacity builder, I almost want to tell you it's a bodybuilder. But no, he's not a bodybuilder. He's a capacity builder, a trainer, and entrepreneur. He's a deep thinker, and Dari, my guest for today, is an insightful trainer who manages to inspire an audience and bring clarity, to every topic they're talking about, and just help them, get their life in that direction, get their life on track, and which is what this show is all about, helping us get our lives on track. Ladies and gentlemen, I have with me my special guest in the house, Dari Adeshogun.
Hello, good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good to be here.
For today. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you.
It's good to be here.
Yes. So let's get right into it. Let's get into the deep waters. I can see calls coming in. We don't even let you talk. They're already calling. Should we take one call before we
Maybe
start?
we should take one call.
Yeah. Let's see.
Anything about clarity, it's a serious business.
It is a serious business. I think it is that call. The number to call to be a part of the conversation is 0705 993 6937 or 0705 993 7937. So yes, we're talking about gaining clarity for 2024. Let's jump right into the deep waters, and we're trying to see the importance of self-reflection, in order to gain clarity. And my last caller said, self-reflection, how can you self-reflect in this economy and all that? So first of all, before we even get to what he said, before you can comment on that, I want us to even understand what self-reflection is all about. Some people say it's meditation, some people say it's thinking, some people will say it's gaining direction, some people even say it's looking into the mirror, Some people say it's sitting down and doing your hand like this and doing your yoga like this. What is self-reflection?
So, thank you for that question. What a lot of people don't know is the fact that self-reflection in itself is ability to look into yourself, the ability to weigh in on your thoughts, on your behaviors, and your feelings. One of the things that we fail to realize is our constant behavior is as a result of our thoughts. So, the ability to look at those thoughts and our actions is what is self-reflection. So we're looking at what caused us to act in a certain way. Why did I act the way I do or I did? Why do I behave the way I behave? And we need to also understand that behavior is constant action. What you do over and over and over again becomes your behavior. And like we say, behavior takes between 21 and 40 days to be formed. So if you do something over and over again for between 21 and 40 days, it becomes an habit. So self-reflection in itself is ability to look deeply into your thoughts, into your feelings, because your thoughts influences your feelings and then your actions. So we need to also know that reflection does not only mean you're looking back. Self-reflection means you're looking at what has happened, what is happening, and what you intend to happen with your thinking, your feelings, and your behaviors. That is all round about you, about the aspect of your life. And there are 12 areas of life. Some people have mentioned finance, some say career, and all that. So the ability to pick a particular area of your life and then think deeply and ask specific questions about what has happened, what is happening, and what should happen is self-reflection.
That's absolutely beautiful, because even in the word reflect, it's like the reflect makes it look as if it's like, when I hear reflect, it's like you're going back, but the reflection maybe coming from what you're saying could now mean that are we going back in order to know what we can do forward?
So
or what? Because if thinking into the future is that reflection?
So in this space, in this context, it's the ability to, the reason you self-reflecting is important. Why do you self-reflect? You self-reflect in order for you to gain self-awareness. And self-awareness is the start of any personal development or growth. So for you to develop or to grow, you need to reflect. And reflection means, okay, so when we look at the mirror, we see our image coming back at us.
Yes.
And your present image is as a result of one or two things that you've done in the past, or many things that you've done in the past. So the ability to see your true self in this present moment will help you to also look at what you want to become, who you want to become. I like to take this context in the sense of clarity. We're talking of clarity for 2024, of course, with the second habit that Covey mentioned in the seven habits of highly effective person. It's about you beginning with the end in mind. So when we're talking about clarity, we're talking about beginning with the end in mind. Who do I want to see at the end of 2024? What do I want to see in this area at the end of 2024? What are the things that I desire at the end of 2024? And then you sit down and look at those things, come back to now and ask yourself, what has stopped me before now? What are the things that I've done before that prevented me from becoming this person that I desired to be or desired to be? What are the things that have helped me to be where I am at the moment? And then what are the things that I need to do in order for me to get to where I desire to be? So all this, it's all encompassing. We're not just looking back, we're looking at the present, because your present reality is also important to where you want to, what you want to become, and who you want to become, what you want to achieve. So you can't look at the past in isolation without looking at your current reality, vis-a-vis the capacity that you have, vis-a-vis the knowledge that you have, and what is the resources that you have presently that will help you to get to that desired place that you want to get to. Those are the things, when you begin to ask those questions, that will give you clarity as to what you will get out of 2024. Of course, you can paint that picture clearly and begin to work towards it, and then at the end of 2024 you can then see that you've moved greatly towards that signpost or that end goal. If you have not reached it, you will be very close to it.
Now that makes a lot of sense when you put it that way. But coming from the last caller's point of view, that everything around us is, screaming for attention. Lagos, there's literally the only silent time in Lagos, quiet time in Lagos is probably between 2 and 4 a.m. or maybe 1 and 3 a.m. Wake up by 4, the world is already out and busy. How do I self-reflect when I'm trying to feed 5 kids and I'm trying to pay their school fees? I'm trying to wake up in the morning in the midst of this chaos. How do I find a minute to self-reflect?
So the unfortunate thing about humanity and about most people is the ability to isolate themselves and take a pause. So most people get caught up in the rat race, and that is why you do the same thing over and over and over and over again, and you're getting the same result. You decide to get a different result, but you don't have the capacity to do things differently. And it's unfortunate that over here we don't employ professionals to help us. This is where coaches come in. This is where therapists come in.
Like, they don't even teach us self-reflection in school.
Yes. They don't teach us in school, and they teach us to pretty much join the rat race and continue in that circle. However, for the most successful, for the people that we can pretty much say are successful, they have the ability to isolate themselves and take a little bit of time and reflect and plan things ahead. For example, I've not done anything. This is my first engagement for 2024.
Wow.
I don't do things the way people do it because I don't want to get the result everybody gets. So one of the things that I've done, that I usually do, is to take the first week off, reflect, look at things. I don't set goals in December, look at New Year resolution. And by the way, a lot of people say New Year resolution. By the 15th of January, every resolution is out of the window. Now, when you spoke about the caller who said what's happening in Lagos, the hustle and bustle, and of course there will be distraction. This is why self-reflection is individual, it's personal. So you need the ability to be able to isolate yourself, because at the end of the day, your goal, your clarity, your ability to achieve anything depends on you. So if you don't do things right, if you don't get it right with yourself, every other thing about you will suffer. Your family might suffer, your relationship will suffer, your finance will suffer. You might discover that you don't even have the finance. You just run the rat race. At the end of December 2024, you're looking at the same thing again. You're looking at how to get it to December again just to get over the issues that have come. However, for you to do things differently, you need to do things differently for you to achieve a different result. And one of the things that you can do is to take a little bit of time. It could be 3 days, it could be a day, it could be 5 days out. Separate or isolate yourself.
So you're calling days like this. Yes. Some of these days are luxuries for some people. Some people don't have those number of days.
And that is why they will not have their desired goals.
Wow. That's hits the spot.
This is the truth avenue.
That is the truth avenue. That is really the truth avenue. So how do we go about self-reflecting? Is it that, I know you've mentioned isolation, that's taking time out. So how do you go about?
So it's not just taking time out.
You sit down and do like this, and on the candle, put some candle on and play some music, or how?
So it's not just isolating yourself. It's not just being in seclusion. It's what you do with those time. And for self-reflection, really, it really might not be that you're taking a whole week or a whole day out. It might just mean that you're creating at least maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, 30 minutes of your day, either in the morning or in the evening or when it's convenient for you, to pretty much take an assessment, take an evaluation of who you were, who you are, who you want to be. And so one of the things that you can do is to keep journals of your, I mentioned that self-reflection is pretty much about your thinking, your feelings, and your actions, your behaviors, your constant actions. So it's pretty much about you journaling,
like a diary.
having a diary about your constant dominant thoughts, the thoughts that crosses your mind, your feeling. When you have a certain feeling or mood, when you've taken a certain action, you want to take an action, you're asking yourself, what is informing this action that I'm about to take or that I've taken? What is informing this feeling that I'm having or that I've had? Knowing fully well that every feeling or emotion is fueled by a certain thought process and
or action.
Whatever action you've taken in the past, whatever action you're taking now, whatever choices you've made is a result of your feelings, which is, of course, your emotions.
Speaking of feelings, let's just find out the feeling of this caller.
Okay.
Pick up. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Talk to me. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Cynthia from Sule.
Oh, hi, TC. What's up?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks for the other day, ma'am.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling.
Oh, yes, ma'am. So, I think the topic for today is reflection.
Yes.
Yes. So, I think we should reflect like once or twice in a week.
Is that how often you do yours?
At most. Ma'am?
Is that how often you reflect?
Yes.
Are you sure? That year did not come out well. Yes, it was dragging.
And within that week, it should be like maybe an hour or two. Where we can gain insight of our thoughts, our feelings, and our behaviors.
Wow.
Because it is an essential part of learning.
Interesting. You sound like you are reading it from somewhere. I'm kidding. Okay. Okay, go ahead. So what do you do when in 1 minute, what do you do when you are, how do you do your self-reflection? Do you lock yourself in the toilet or what?
No, I just waste time for myself. I just be alone inside, listening to music, but it's going to be on a very low tone so I can meditate properly. And I'll just think about how I handle things, valuable lessons I've learned.
Interesting.
My goals, what I've accomplished.
Okay, so what are you focusing on this year? What's your goal for this year? Your major goal?
My major goal for this year.
You have not. Oh, you've not.
No, it's kind of personal though.
Okay, it's very personal, so you don't want to share it with us.
Maybe some other time, but for now it's kind of personal.
All right, no problem, Sylvia. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it.
All right, yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
That's fantastic. You need to be able to, determine what you want, and then look at how you want it, and then look at how everything you want will fall in place, considering the things that could stop you, considering the things that could happen. The financial people call it risk. How do you mitigate the risk that will come? If you don't reflect to plan ahead, when the risk comes, when the risk crystallizes, when the risk crystallizes, it will be difficult for you to make room for it. But ahead of time, when you have self-reflected, you can make provision for the risk. You can make provision for, I may use that word,
I hear you, but there's times when you sit down and self-reflect and you're not getting that clarity,
Yeah, so
it feels like you're stuck.
Yes, we live in a dysfunctional environment. So a lot of us are going about with baggages. A lot of us are going about with issues. A lot of us are going about with traumas, which, if we don't resolve, will act as blocks, mental blocks, that is, from preventing us from thinking straight, preventing us from making effective plans, that is. And so that is where the therapies come in place. And to tell you, I mentioned that self-reflection is important to self-awareness or self-discovery. And the very first journey to growth, prosperity, and peace is you discovering yourself. Because if you don't discover yourself, there's no way you can manage yourself. So you need to become aware if before you can manage. What you don't know, you cannot manage. That's what Peter Drucker said. So it starts from becoming aware of who you are, of your weaknesses, of your blocks, of your challenges, whether you're even self-sabotaging, whether you're stuck. A lot of people are stuck. A lot of people, one of the things that is preventing them from effectively gaining clarity is their inability to think straight. And they can't think straight because of the baggages that from the past that they are carrying. And some people have so much suppressed it such that they are used to it. They are now living with the monster. And until they come to that realization and they get help, they might not be able to move forward. And so these things, in addition to fear, some people fear of the unknown, some fear success, some fear moving on. There are several fears that people harbor and they are now living with that also prevent them from gaining clarity and moving on and also achieving their desired result. But pretty much what self-reflection would do for you is to identify those things, to identify your values, to identify your beliefs, to identify your priorities, and then get to take informed actions. So we mentioned about isolating yourself, journaling. Another thing is mindfulness. So some people call it mindfulness, some people call it meditation, but mindfulness is really pretty much beyond meditation. It's your ability to be in the present, ability to know what your thoughts is, ability to constantly maintain your present, free yourself of baggages in the mind. So that is pretty different from when your mind is full. Mindfulness is different from mindfulness. So when your mind is full, you have a lot of baggages, you have a lot of distractions. But mindfulness is your ability to do away with distraction and be in the present for you to be able to think straight and then ask yourself specific questions. So another way to also self-reflect is to employ the service of professionals. You can employ the service of coaches. You can also have discussion with your friends about, this is what I'm feeling, or this is what I'm planning, how do I get this, in order for you to gain clarity and in order for you to
good friends, so not friends that
good friends.
When people are fighting now, they will just bring it out from nowhere.
So that helps you to identify your weaknesses, to unburden, to do away with the baggages of the past, and then to look at, this is what I want to do, analyze it, and then look at ways forward. Those are some of the things that you can do in order for you to self-reflect.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Deep Waters with Debrah Waters. Let's take a caller. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, Abubakar, good evening.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you for calling.
Compliments you.
Same to you. Talk to me.
Well done,
Thank you. Talk to me.
Coach, welcome.
Thank you so much. Good evening.
Yeah, I'm enjoying you a lot.
Thank you.
Yes, I completely agree with you, everything you said. And one thing I just want to add, maybe from my own side, maybe before you clear us more. You see, in this country, we so much rely on the government, everything, government. We have been in bad government before even this Debrah there was born.
Even before I was born.
You see, right from the 90s, so when I was born, people continue to complain government. Hey, government have done this, government have done that. It's like we are ungrateful. Maybe that is why the God of everybody in your own faith is punishing us. When I mentioned that in 1998, people came out to jubilate a lot when a liter of fuel in this country was 11 naira. A liter was 11 naira. The man died, people came out to jubilate. Okay, how far today? If anybody had ever told me in life that in Nigeria a liter of oil will be 700 naira, I say it's a big lie. You see, so we should try and forget about government. Let us focus on maybe our own faith, your God. When you pray to your God, you go out, whatever you see, you take it. And the meditation is really necessary. Like the other day, I told you that I am going to cut off so many friends from my way this year.
Oh yes, you said. I hope I'm not one of them that you cut.
I shouldn't have called
because you have not called for the past 2 shows now. I hope you have not cut me off.
See, you know how many times I have tried? Sometimes you'll be carried away by your own guests. You are even enjoying the program more than us with the listener.
Wow,
just find something and concentrate. Let us forget about the government. I told you the other day, there were people in this very government now that were on the street 15 years ago complaining about government. Now they are there in the government now, looking our money to abroad.
Interesting.
So help us God, in any God, everybody please.
Thank you, thank you, Abubakar, for all the low jabs. We felt every jab you gave on the show. We felt it. Thank you.
Yeah, Coach, clear me more.
Thank you so much, Abubakar. You know, it's so informative what he said. It's important. That's why I mentioned, when we mentioned self-reflection, it's about self. For everything or anything you want to achieve, if it's out of your control, it is not for you. Whatever is for you is within your control. And then you look at the variables. So when we look at concentric circle, for example, you are the core of that circle. And your environment is the one outside, and the outermost is the government or the policies. You have no control over the government policies. You have no control over your environment, but you have control over yourself. You have control over your choices. You have control over your plans. You have control over your behaviors. You have control over how you react to what policies or whatever it is that the environment is pushing at you. So at the end of the day, you are the one that is in control of your sanity. And if you're not...
your clarity.
And your clarity. If you're not clear about what you want, it's like you have no direction. So everything goes, if I may use that word. So you're just like a rudderless ship. And mind you, you are always the captain of your ship and the architect of your own fate or destiny. So if you cannot carve out your direction clearly,
the water go they carry you, they go where you don't know.
The water go carry you where you don't know now. If you like, make it carry you go Cameroon. Make it carry you go Zambia forest. You go follow. But then if you're clear, and that clarity comes from you're asking yourself, what has worked for me? What is the government doing? What is the worst case scenario I'm expecting from the government? Forget about faith. This is not about faith. Faith is not a strategy. Don't faith it. This is about reality and making plans. So you're asking yourself, what has the government done in the past? What is the likelihood that this economy will improve? If it doesn't improve, what are the things that I need to do for this 2024? All this, when you begin to ask all these questions, it will help you to gain clarity as to what are the things that you need to do. How do you need to do it? But above all, you must know your why. Why do you want to achieve what you want to achieve? Again, I said, begin with the end in mind. What do you want to see at the end of 2024?
Absolutely.
Come back to the present and then make a plan.
Dari Adeshogun, transformative coach, mind and behavioral change coach in the house. Thank you so much for being a part of the show and for giving us clarity, on what our clarity should be like in 2024. It's been amazing. How can people find you, your fans like Abubakar? How can they find you on social media?
So I'm Dari Adeshogun, Dareadeshogan on all social media platforms. Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok,
and he does a lot of clips
and YouTube. So
for you to gain clarity on, so you can follow up with that and all that.
Follow me, subscribe, and then encourage, make comments. Yes,
and then most importantly, self-reflect. This weekend, try and do it. And if you cannot break through it, get a therapist, get a coach to help you self-reflect and gain clarity for the year 2024. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Don't forget to follow at @deepwaters_podcast on Instagram to be a part of the Deep Waters community. To everyone who called in to be a part of the show, I want to say thank you so much for calling and for sharing your thoughts. You've been so vulnerable with us, and thank you for being a part of Deep Waters with Debrah Waters. For myself and Dari Adishokan, we say bye-bye. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.
See you on Monday at 4:30 p.m. Bye-bye.